For me at least, to be able to look out there and see a full house. I appreciate having visitors, and I know they're not here for me, and there's some students out there that you're all here for, but it makes me feel like you're here for me, so thanks for being here. Please remember that as we have this meeting, it's a school board meeting that's had in public, but not for the public to comment at. We do our best to respect your needs and things that you would like to say, and that will come during public comment if you have anything there. Also, I just want to point out that our mission statement of promoting high achievements and responsible citizenship is very important to us, and we hope that we can continue to help our students be the best that they can here and always. Let's go ahead and just jump right into what our meeting is today. And gotta get to the right screen here. Mr. Doolin, will you go ahead and start with your report for us?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, good evening. You had asked me to speak about that letter that I received from the Freedom Foundation, so I'll read a little bit for you tonight. And I quote, "A concerned parent reported that on November the 9th, 2024, the district held an all-school Veterans Day program that included religious messaging and prayer. Our complainant reports that the event speaker led students in prayer and repeatedly quoted the Bible, and that their children were deeply uncomfortable with the school-sponsored prayer and religious promotion." So I had to answer back on what we would do next time, and I simply said that I'll be more cognizant of what the venue is prior to. I didn't tell him I'd stop anything, I didn't tell him I'd start anything. But I am going to refer us all to policy 2340, in which parents can opt out if they don't want their parents at the program. And it goes on to say that there were some adults that were uncomfortable as well. So I'll get a piece in the paper that says, this is coming up, this is what's going to transpire at the event. Basically, stay home if you don't want to be a part of the event, with your permission, of course.
That's, I'm glad thanks for that report. I just going to say that letter from the Freedom Foundation bothered me just a little bit because of who our community is, but I'm grateful that, you know, we respect the rights and needs of everybody, and I'm glad we have a policy that will allow us to continue doing what we're doing and allow others to have their freedom, their ability to be removed as well.
Yes, sir. All right, now on to the slideshows, if you direct your attention up there. Be much appreciated. So the first part of the slideshow is just a reiteration or a re-emphasis of what we discussed 2 or 3 months ago about the supplemental levy. It says we know time is not getting any shorter. It's going to be made before we know it. So just to recap, supplemental levy is due to expire in June. A new one would take effect 1 July and continue for 2 years. The tax levy would be in December. Again, what do we do with our supplemental levy? Well, there's the kindergarten again. It hasn't changed. We're still paying for half. The state pays for half. And sports hasn't changed either. We're still paying for no pay to play for our students, athletes, transportation costs, and coach's salary. Here's a new one here, technology equipment upgrades. And what this is, it's we have to pay 30% of our E-rate, the money we get from the state. They pay 70, we pay 30. And you'll see what that total is in just a few minutes. And what that goes for is new internet, category 1. And then category 2 will be the back of the house, which is new switches that are up here, new network. So like I said before, we all come back in the fall, we should have no issues with our internet system. And then the latest and greatest is this one right here, new high school track and field house. So moving right along. Here's how it breaks down. Salary, benefits, supplies for all kindergarten, all day kindergarten, $130K. You guys can read the rest. This didn't change from last time. This was a small addition because the E rate came in since our last meeting. talk about supplemental levy, and then this is a $400,000 addition for the new high school track. And if you're saying, why do we need a new track? I'm glad you asked me that, because we're going to get there. Why a new track? Well, the last repair was completed more than 7 years ago on our current track. And the doctor, the track doctor said then, you only got 5 years on this track, so we've extended that by 2 years already. Right now, I'll show you in a minute, the track is unserviceable and it's dangerous. And this affects more than 150 student athletes. High school, middle school, and Drew and the track team, they host Cambridge. So they got to find somewhere else to have a track meet this year. So again, no track meets at the high school this year. And people might be saying, do you need it or do you want it? We need it if we want to stay competitive in 3A with track. So again, we'll have to leave. This is new knowledge to me. Drew just told me that Payette is going to host our high school track meets. That's great, but what that means is a little bit of a transportation cost we didn't plan on, as well as some loss in student learning, because they're going to have to leave earlier to get over to Payette. So again, 2 high school meets, 1 middle school meet, and I don't know what Cambridge is going to do as of this afternoon. Now, this really concerns me too. Practice, according to the coach, track practice every day is down to 2 lanes, because you can read the rest. They only can wear tennis shoes, and I'm going to show you in a minute, the rest of the track is pretty much cracked up and messed up. So, and they can't wear any spikes. So you know, if you participate in spikes, which are practicing tennis shoes, that could be a problem. So what would we get? Well, we'd get a new base. We discussed that earlier. I don't know if it's going to be concrete or asphalt, but a new base would come with a new track. We would redo the drainage system and the infield sprinklers, because right now our sprinkler systems are going over onto the track and just causing, it has been for years, and it's just causing total chaos. We would also purchase, we'd also redo the area around the track, meaning at both ends, because right now it's just ugly rubbish. So we'd get some mulch and pretty it up a little bit. We also needed some new goalposts for our practice field, because right now, I don't even know what those are. It looked like 10 metal rugby posts. So we're going to put in for some new goalposts as well. But the bottom line's here. It's a huge morale enhancer. And I think we've seen with things that are new, things that keep us up competitive, or heaven forbid we talk about the new food operation and how food is a morale enhancer and a morale booster. We're talking about the same thing with the new track. It used to just high, as you know, with our school district, other districts, and the community. I'll show you a picture that when I was out there taking pictures, there was a guy out there with his dog. So people are using our track that are not athletes, which is nice, until we get in the track. No, I just simply mean you got to pick up after your dog. That's it.
Good.
Nothing wrong with that. So the bottom line is this: a 3A high school needs a serviceable, in our case, a new track. So kind of hard to see, but you see holes here. You see holes here. You see divots here, and this track runs across all lanes. This is the part where water's gotten under here, and it's puffed up the top surface. You can't run on that. There's cracks across the whole lanes. There's more puffed up area. There's Mr. Civilian. His dog's out here somewhere, I think. Again, puffed up area. Again, cracks across the whole track, both areas. Again, puffed up area, and this is just not one spot. I rocked around the whole track twice. So this is around the whole track, just not one area. I mean, you get a spike caught in there, you trip over that, just running. It's bad news. Again, holes, bigger cracks. Okay, so there's the track. So if you wonder, if you're saying to yourself, why a field house? Well, I'll tell you bluntly, it's 2024. And if you go to watch your kid play sport, or your niece, or why do you want to go to the bathroom in a porta-john? It's 2024. Therefore, if we got a new field house, indoor plumbing, no more porta-johns, and we could sell concessions to every event that was on that complex up there, and make a little money for the organization. Dedicated cheerleader practice area. Right now, they got to practice early in the morning before school starts. They practice late at night. So we dedicated cheerleading practice area. And finally, these batting cages out of my armory. You're welcome.
Thank you.
But there'd be a place, there'd be a place for the batting cages down there as well, amongst other things. We want to find something for track in there, golf in there, and tennis. So we're talking about maybe a metal building. We got some people we can talk to right now that maybe a donation, maybe, but not even there yet. This is the first time we've put this together last week and discussed it. So track, a need, field house, a need, because it's 2024 and nobody wants to use the porta john. So where would it go at? Will it go right here, between the back of the softball field, in between there and the scoreboard? Subject to your questions, that's that brief.
Is there a size of this field house?
Not yet.
What
Drew?
did we talk, 50 to
80,
100?
55.
So what we were thinking is, because we need to make it big enough to accommodate the cheer mats,
That was.
and so they're going to need to be at least 40 feet wide, and probably at least 80 feet long. So, and you're going to need 16-foot ceilings at least in there. Yeah. Yep. It will be really nice for all of our athletes. Golf simulators in there, tennis during bad weather would be able to get in there. We're thinking kind of a turf floor, so we could keep it clean and just make it just pretty much a field house. Just the turf down. Their mats can be elevated and stored easy for them, so that they're not manhandling all of that stuff that's heavy. And the batting cages would be nice to have. Both programs have dedicated batting cages areas instead of fighting over space and shared time, and it'll be nice for all of them. So,
Is there going to be a need to move the scoreboard?
well, the scoreboard would be moved. That's probably another conversation, because that scoreboard is, I believe, ran by Daktronics, which is the software, and things are getting more and more hard to find parts for it, and it's pretty old, the scoreboard. So that would probably be a thing where we would update a scoreboard at some point, and we would be able to put it on the building. The power's there. The one thing that we've talked about but haven't discussed is we have a water issue, drainage that comes off of that field right there and goes across the road. We wouldn't need to water that area anymore, so we'd have less drainage, so we might not need to do a bunch of work to drain the water. We could potentially contain it ourselves there with some work. So, yep.
Pretty detailed. I like that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
That was good.
All right, thank you. Mr. President, that's all I have for tonight from you.
All right, let's turn over to your administrators, Mr. Dillon.
Okay, Mr. Dickerson?
Mr. Dillon, do you want me to have my students talk right now during this portion?
No, I have them down as citizens' comments. I have them down a little bit later, unless you'd rather have them do now.
Well, I was just thinking that they've got events and things, so maybe.
Mr. Bruce?
Okay.
That would be fine. There are a few different events going on. Let's make a change to our agenda there and have them come and visit with us. Is there any other changes since we're at this that we do have on our agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, let's do, Mr. Dickerson, move that will be under citizen comments, the FFA students, ASB officers. Let's have their.
Okay, perfect. So to start, I'm going to have my ASB officers come up. They will introduce themselves. You guys can just stand right there at the. So these guys have been doing a lot of great work for the students of Weiser High School. They've done some pretty neat initiatives this year to help out and give back to some community, and I'll let them share with you. And then when they're done, I'll have the ASB or the FFA officers present it.
Alright, so I'm Jaden Walker, the ASB Vice President.
I'm Edith Delgadillo, the ASB Secretary. So for Valentine's Day, we had an assembly which we called the Bachelor. And to start, I'm going to talk about what we did to prepare for that. So we had music going on during this assembly. We had a curtain separating the boy and the girls that were on there, which Jaden will talk more about. But we made it like Valentine's Day edition, so we had rose petals, we had candles, and all of that. So I'll let Jaden talk about that.
So then we called up one boy, or two boys in total. We had one underclassman boy and one upperclassman boy. And then we brought them up on stage, and then we brought up 4 girls, underclassmen girls for the underclassman boy, and put them on the other side of the curtain so the boy couldn't see them. And then we had the boy ask the girls a series of questions as a little, I guess you could call it a dating show type thing. And some of the questions we had, just a couple examples, were would you rather go shopping or fishing? And what color best describes your personality and why? And then for the upperclassmen, there was questions like, what are your hobbies? Or what do you consider a red flag in a guy? And so there's just kind of questions like that to get to know the girl a little bit. And then at the end we had the boy choose which girl, I guess, he wanted to win, I guess. And then he would give her a rose. We'd take the other girls backstage, and then he went and gave the winner a rose, and then we gave all the winners
Dutch Bros
Dutch
gift
Bros
cards. Yeah, so if they wanted to go together, they could. They had the option to, so it wasn't like awkward for them or anything. So we gave them that option, and yeah, they just decided to choose who they wanted to go with.
and then, so we did that, and then we also put on the Sweethearts Dance as a fundraiser.
Yeah. We had our Sweethearts Dance on February 16th, and which we raised a lot of money for, and we decided to donate some of that money to the Institute because they have helped us throughout the years a lot, and the Senior Center because we found out that they were struggling with their mortgage, so we decided to help them out a little bit, and we donated $500 to each person. So yeah. And then last Thursday, we had our dodgeball tournament for a senior fundraiser for our senior party, which the senior class actually put on. It was really fun. We had a lot of teams join, so yeah. And then
in the future, coming up is prom, and we're going to do a spring fling week the week of that, and it's April 13th is when prom will be, but we haven't planned it yet.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, good job.
Thank you.
Next, I'll have my FFA officers introduce themselves.
I'm Isabel Frostheiser, our chapter's reporter.
And I'm Erin Larson, the Weiser FFA chapter vice president.
Sure. So every single FFA week we have is a national celebration all FFA chapters do across our nation. We like to do a thing called our community breakfast to give back to our community, and there we served about 350 to 400 community members. We served them 75 pounds of pancake mix, 33 dozen eggs, and 10 pounds of coffee. So there was a lot of members there, and we kept them wide awake with all that coffee for sure. And then our first trip we went on this year was Gem State. It's a state leadership conference that's held in Boise. We had 20 of our chapter members attend, and there they had 4 leadership sessions with our state officers. And then our juniors and seniors also got a luncheon with our legislators. So they got to work on their networking skills and meet new kids from all around the state. And just recently, our floral team went up to Cambridge last Wednesday to go compete at District Floral, and there's also extemporary speaking there and public speaking. And our floral team consisted of Emery Coons, Emma Odoms, Riley Roberts, and myself, Isabella Froschizer. And we placed 3rd out of 11 teams at the district competition, and our very own Emery Coons placed 5th individually, and we will be competing at state and SLC coming here the week after spring break in Twin Falls.
And to touch on SLC a little bit, that's our state leadership conference. It'll be April 3rd through the 6th. The events that are going to be held there are competitive events, workshops, large group sessions, keynote speakers, talent exhibitions, and industry tours. The purpose of this trip is to learn personal and team leadership skills, learn more about ag careers. If a lot of the FFA members don't know what they're going to do after high school, we have career fairs there where we go around to each booth and they explain their career to us a little bit. And I think that that's one of the best things held at our FFA events, because that's where our minds kind of open, and that's when we really branch out and figure out who we want to be later in life. Then our next event is our chapter banquet, which will be April 23rd. We will send out invitations for that. So this is where ourselves, current officers, will pass down our positions, and it's also where the seniors will get their recognition. We will then have a dinner, and then we will also do an opening and closing ceremony officially for the last time, especially as seniors. And it's going to be held at Sunnyside Farm. Our last event of this school year would be our state CPAs, which Isabella touched on a little bit. It'll be the first week of June. I don't have the exact dates yet. But that's where we will take about 8 teams, I believe our advisor said. Some of the events that we will be participating in is potato evaluation, livestock judging, dairy foods judging, floral, forestry, parliamentary procedure, and entomology. About 25 students usually attend those. That's the average. Then there will be another career fair on Thursday, which is when those booths will come out again. Then we will have awards on Friday, and then that's when we'll go home. That is the end. Does anybody have any questions about any of those events?
Is this the first time we've participated in district and state floral? I've never even heard of that. That's so cool.
We went last year. Last year was my first year on the team, but I think we normally go because, as Mr. Davies is shaking his head, Kate was on the team and she took it to state. I think
floral just
3 years.
started not very long ago, right?
Maybe what, 3 or 4 years, guys?
So have they been doing it since it started? Oh, cool.
Yes.
And this year is the first year that we'll have an entomology team, I believe.
Which is
And-
the study of bugs.
Oh,
So we
yes.
just look at
Study of
bugs.
Yes. And then I believe that last year or 2 years ago was our first year with bird potato.
Yeah. So potato eval has just become a competition. And Idaho, it first started in Washington, which is kind of weird because Idaho is famous for potatoes, and you would think we would be the first ones, but it's actually not a national competition, so even if you place first, you can't go to nationals for it. We've placed 5th and 3rd as a team, so
Yes.
hopefully we're going for gold this year.
Yeah,
So,
hopefully. Good luck.
these past 2 years, we've had people place individually in the top 10, so hopefully we all get top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Good luck.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
So you can see, got some great leaders at the high school helping us out, and they're doing great things for our high school and community. So pretty proud of those guys. Are there any questions? Okay.
I'm still speaking. Just as a follow-up from the middle school, the 8th grade boys basketball team, who were seated 3rd place at the district tournament, came on top and won the gold. Took 1st place against the undefeated team, Homedale. So that was nice to come back with that championship. So that was a great job by them. The 7th grade also competed in that tournament at districts, and they took 4th place. So great job to them. On Friday, we had a great professional development at our school with our staff. That kind of it was a fun scavenger hunt, I guess you would say. So, looking at it from a student's perspective, so I had them pretend that they were students, and they had to go around the school and find certain locations. A location that might be the most inspiring to a student, a location maybe where they could hide the best from the teachers, kind of a thing. And so it was great to just get the staff together and just laugh, work together as a team. The month of February can be a pretty stressful month, and so the goal was just to have them collaborate and just laugh and have a productive, fun meeting. So I think that took place. So I was happy about that. We did have 3 members school members go to the Scratch for Schools, and they were able to make it into the final round. That was Nicole Miller, Miss Kathy Miller, and Casey Hood were able to go, and they brought back $487 for our school. So we plan to find good ways to use those funds. So thanks to them for participating in that. Let's see, we have tennis and track seasons have started today. Let's see, we had a campus cleanup in the month of March, and we're going to be doing that, continuing on, moving forward until the end of the school year. And that's all I have right now. Any questions?
So your teachers went and did the scavenger hunt, did they all come back?
They did, because they had to take a selfie at each of these locations.
I just wondered if you found a good hiding spot.
Right, and they had to share those photos, and so then we shared them all to the staff, and so they had some good laughs for sure. But they did come back.
Any questions? Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, brief report from Indian Head. We've got, currently we've got 18 students at Indian Head. We've got 3 students that we're working really hard to try to get their last credits wrapped up for next week. We should be able to graduate 3 next week if we get them all to jump through those hoops. I've also got one student who's been working online exclusively for the whole school year, and she's come on really strong lately. She probably will be finished and get her graduation requirements done within the next 2 weeks. So that was a kind of a nice surprise over the last week and a half with her. Highlights, our students took a walking field trip over to the museum at the Institute about a week ago, and got the local history from the ladies over there at the museum, and they had a really good time. So, or at least the ones that had a good time said they had a good time. So, anyway, that's kind of about it with us for right now. Any questions?
I look forward to finding out when we're going to have another graduation. No, yeah.
Is it on there?
I stated that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. I will send out a confirmation.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the end of this week.
I look forward to that day. I appreciate it. That's a fun graduation to attend. Those kids have worked hard, and I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Helping them get there. They'll always be appreciative of that the rest of their lives, so thank you.
Okay,
It's kind of nice not to go first, because then when you hear other people, you remember the other things you want to add to your report. So thanks, gentlemen. Brooke Winston Park School, really excited. We've had a lot of fun this month. Really happy that both our 4th grade and 5th grade got to attend a field trip recently within the last 2 weeks, both in line with their curriculum. I did make a note that field trip from Weiser to Boise on a bus with the 4th grade is a long trip. I was very proud. All the kids did not have any accidents, and it was a successful trip. I did also make a note that to self that travel with multiple layers, and even though I sent out all of the reminders to parents, I have a snapshot of my phone when it was 28 degrees when we were doing our scavenger hunt outside in the park. And the only thing I kept reminding the kids is that we're all cold together. So it was a good bonding experience, and it was a really fun time. So we're grateful for the district for providing the funds for us to have 4th and 5th go on a field trip this year. It was awesome. We have now deemed our assembly the honor assembly. We started out, if you remember correctly, it was a PBIS, that's what it was. And now we've branched out to not only positive behavior support system and recognition, also we're doing our ISIP. So the kids that reach their goal monthly, they're rewarded, and we get to have an ISIP signing the next day. It's been fantastic. We've also added in our walking club. I'm not sure if you knew about the grant that Mrs. Odette got for us, and we have a walking club every week, and we've kept track of it in our gym, and it's labeled around the miles, and everyone can see how far a student has gone, the class has gone, and our school has gone. And so it's really exciting to track the mileage that they're adding on there and giving them some recognition for that. It was leap year this year, so on the 29th we had a leapfrog contest. So we took all the kids outside and we did class per class and had a leapfrog contest. It was really fun. Mrs. Walker's class ended up being the victor. It was pretty exciting. 4th grade really thought they could have had him, and it was really close. It came down to one little leap. And this is awesome. Big shout out. Tomorrow is our first ever Art in the Park School. It starts at 5:30 to 7. We're really excited. We partnered up with Misty, and she's going to provide food. And I didn't mean to do this, but it did happen that tomorrow's Tuesday, and it's Taco Tuesday. We're having tacos, so it worked out great. Free food for the family. You can bring all of the family. We have an art project that everyone will get to participate in. Got a really fancy little backdrop so we can have a picture op, and it's just really, really excited to bring the whole family in for a park. So that will be tomorrow at 5:30 to 7. And we also did Scratch for Schools. Our school had 3 representatives, and we were able to bring back $267. Every dollar counts, right? So that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
I just wanted to say I love your newsletter.
Thank you.
Do you send that out, I'm assuming,
I
to
do.
parents?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do it on a monthly basis.
Yeah, I saw that it said something about, this is changing from weekly to monthly, and I thought, oh my word, you did that weekly?
I did.
Wow.
It was a lot of work, and
Yeah, that's a ton of work.
Yeah, and I'm still able to get all of the pictures in there. I just think it's more important that I'm in the classroom more often and visiting and being in there, not trying to get that newsletter out weekly.
That all I could think when I was looking at it was, wow, that is a lot of work. So, a very good job.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
thank you,
super.
S'more. It's actually an app, and Adolfo's using it as well. And we've been very, very, very grateful for it. It's really nice. The
So it
parents
just goes
have
out like
responded.
email to all parents?
Mhm. Yeah, and it actually links with our new information system that we have to send out to parents, and you can, it logs right in there, so then they can just click right.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you.
I like it. Good
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I now have a student at Park School. Can I come to art and tomorrow?
Yes, you are all cordially invited.
Thanks.
All right. Hello, everyone. Fun to report on all the great things that are going on at Pioneer School. We, some of you guys actually celebrated with us. We had our annual bingo for books on Leap Night, okay, the 29th of February, and had great attendance. I had 141 lines where parents signed in. Some of those had 2 and 3, names on them, and then also on the students. So if you guys were there, I mean, it was packed. And there were tons of people there. It was a lot of fun. And we did have one student at Pioneer School
who is a true LEAP baby, and he was there at Bingo for Books, so we all ended up singing happy birthday for him, and he kept telling everybody he is 2-8 years old, because that was actually his only second real birthday, so, but it was fun. We had a great time with that, and gave away, I would say, 1,000 books or so. I mean, it was really busy, had a lot of fun. Popcorn, our PTO bought us a popcorn popper, and we were able to raise a little money that way that's gonna go right back into the Bingo for Books line, so super excited about that. That was a lot of fun. We also had a team go and do the Scratch for Schools. Michaela Mills, Shai Cardenas, and Stacy Reddick, and I believe they brought back a check for $302, I think is what that was. So, but they said they had a great time. If you've never been to that event, it's a high energy event, kind of a lot of fun, and just a great thing for us to just have that money come right back, and we can put it right back into our school and just do some things that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So it was great. On Friday at our in-service day, we had a really great day there as well. Teacher teams got together. We started off the day with our kindergarten teachers meeting with the first grade teachers, and then we did first and second and third, and we really worked on some vertical alignment with, hey, here's a wish list. These are the skills we would love our students to walk into the classrooms in the fall with these skills, and we're going to continue to do that and try to get those things going so that we can really have that feel that we're a team, a K-3 team, and all be on the same page. And Danielle took a bunch of notes for us, and we shared all those notes with everybody, so the third grade teachers got to see what the kindergarten teachers talked about as well. But we're going to continue to do that, and a lot of great conversations, just talking about the implementation of some new materials and where we are now, where we would really like to see ourselves in the future. So it was a lot of fun to sit in on those meetings, and just I'm just learning so much every single day, every week. I've just learned a ton from all those teachers. We have a really great staff at Pioneer School and a lot of expertise, so I've really enjoyed spending the time with the teacher teams and learning so much about elementary education. A little bit different than what goes on at the high school, let me tell you. And now I'll tell you, they work their tails off. They do a really nice job. Let me see here. On the 14th, next week, Brooke and I will be going around the district with some of the leaders from our Southwest Literacy Collaborative, and we're going to be doing instructional rounds with teachers at Pioneer School, and then we're going to go up and do some instructional rounds at Park School, and then we're going to put a bunch of information together to help our teachers with the continued implementation of our new Wonders ELA materials. And so we'll be doing that. So it's always fun to be able to get out and get into teachers' classrooms, so we really look forward to that. There will be a group of us that will be doing that, like I say, on the 14th. So that's coming right up. And I know the teachers are really looking forward to get that feedback as well. And then it's kind of, as Brooke alluded to, it's kind of field trip season. And we've also have a few planned. On the 14th in the morning, our first graders are going to walk down to the vet clinic and get to spend a little time down there and take a look around the clinic and meet the doctors that are working down there. So I know the kids are super excited about that. And we have a plan for early May. Our kindergartners are going to go to the zoo, so we're excited for those kids to do that. And then we have some other ones that are kind of in the works that we haven't nailed down yet. But it is a lot of fun for our kids to get out and learn, from experience. And so we're really looking forward to that this spring as well. And I think that is about it. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
No, but I comment, I'm glad to see a healthy bingo for books. My kids have enjoyed that for years and years, and to be able to go with my grandkids.
That's fun.
It was a lot of fun, and all the kids around our table went home with a lot of books.
Oh, yeah, and that's the goal. We want to get a whole bunch of books in the hands of kids and get them into the houses. So, and it was fun to see all the different generations, grandparents, parents, I saw some people that just had, neighborhood, friends that came with them. High school kids, helping with the bingo with the little kids. So it was a neat community event for sure.
We had some of the steadfast teachers there, that a couple of them that have been gone for a year or two. Patty was there helping them, she used to. It was fun to have everybody there again.
Fun night. And then the field trips, I'm so glad that we've got field trips. Have they gone to, has kindergarten gone to the zoo in,
It's been a while.
It's been years, right?
Yeah, it's been
Which is
a
so
while.
sad.
So we wanted to try to get
Talk
that
about
going
going
again.
with fourth graders. You should try it with kindergarten.
Let's take the kindergartners aboard.
I did at the beginning of my career. I remember that. And we went to the zoo. I have flashbacks right now just thinking about it.
So fun.
It is.
So much fun.
So not to bring any kind of a competitive mood into the administrator reports, but I just want to report, and maybe so that the community knows, you know, we get funding on ADA this year, and so it's been really important that we try to keep our daily attendance up. Drew's not here to hear it, probably, thankfully, but he'll let you know. His percentages are a little higher than everybody else's. But overall, about 93% is what I read from a report, and to have the high school at 96% is fantastic. So again, if we were having any kind of a competition, there's a few percentage points there for you to maybe see if you can get some kids to.
There's an unfair advantage there, but that's okay.
Yeah, let's just be honest. Yeah.
All right, okay.
Okay.
I don't have anything to be able to make that up, so it's just in the numbers. One more.
Okay, so I have your special education update for the district. It's very interesting every month to report our numbers, and they're pretty consistent. However, the students who make up those numbers, not so consistent. We have had a high mobility in our special education students this year, more so than what I saw last year. So that's a lot of work for our special education teachers. We just kind of get started, do a sufficiency review. Oh, the kiddos are moving, or whatever the case might be. And so that's been an interesting thing to experience this year. So the teachers are doing a nice job of all that. I wanted to just share, I didn't have our iStation rate of improvement data to put in my written report. I do have that for you. So I am very excited to say that for the second time in a row, we have 70% of our kids K-8 who are on track to meet or exceed their annual growth this year. We were at about 59% last year, so our goal was to get to 70 this year. So that's really exciting to see. And so all the things that are happening in general education and intervention and special education are really making a difference for our students who have the biggest gap to fill. So I'm pretty excited, and so please tell our special education teachers and our gen ed teachers thank you for all of those things. I've also been very fortunate. The district has been very supportive of letting us get substitutes for our special education teachers so that I can meet with them once a quarter so that we can do in-depth professional development, talk about new law. Special education is all the law and legal things. I'm lovingly called the fun sucker out of our admin meetings because it is just so tight. So I was at a conference this last week, the Blue Jeans conference, and the presenter is an attorney specializing in special education law, and she said, look, in 2002 they did a research study on the special education procedure and found that you have the potential to make 800 to 900 procedural errors in the start to finish of the IEP process. So there's a lot of stuff to make sure it's exactly right, and I like to stay in the lines. So it's not always the most fun, but I do appreciate the opportunity to get together with our teachers, do professional development. I am amazed at the growth our special education teachers have made this year in the IEPs that they are writing. The quality is so fantastic. Not that they weren't good to begin with, but we are just really leveraging our practice and writing those IEPs, and I'm really, really excited about that. We'll get together on April 3rd for our last quarterly professional development and opportunity to come together, but we'll also be talking about extended school year, or ESY, and that's where we look at our students who qualify for continued services over the summer because they just lose too much when they're not in school. So we'll be talking about that and looking at who we will invite to attend. So this will be our second year in a row for having an extended school year, so I'm excited about that. And then it's going to be kind of a weird celebration, but I do want to share that we are going to have the same 2 telehealth SLPs next year as we have this year. It'll be the first time in 6 years we've had consistency there, and they are phenomenal, amazing ladies. And in fact, our SLP who lives in Tennessee is going to be flying out here so she can actually see kids in person somewhere. Maybe she's like, maybe I can come for orientation days or something. So she's loving it. Just the fact that we're gonna have some consistency for our kiddos is very exciting for me. So I wanted to share that with everybody as well. Any questions that I might be able to answer for you about special education?
I knew the right question.
Our response is the same if we only do the right question. Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Bush, if I could, you hear great reports, and these people behind the administrators, if they had opportunity to talk, they give you the same great reports about maintenance, about lawns, about food, about transportation. And you touched on a little bit about the ADA. And ADA is where it is today. I know you say the high school, which is true, but it's a community impact. The parents are doing the right things, the teachers are doing the right things, and the students are doing the right things. And I know you probably get tired of me saying it, but we are firing on all cylinders. I mean, tomorrow we have training from any new professor, 1 to 4, about mapping and about vertical alignment. We're sending folks down to Idaho Falls next month to learn about RTI, more RTI. So everybody is doing something to keep us moving in the right direction. So with that said.
Thank you. And it's what it takes, and we really do appreciate that. As we focus on how are the kids doing, and we've had great reports, and when they have the ability to have not only good teachers and administrators, but fields and technology, and when everything aligns behind them, we've got good support, and I appreciate the food. It's huge, and really appreciate that. All right, let us, any other questions real quick for your administrators from the board? Okay. Let's move on to our consent agenda. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes from our prior meetings? Any questions or things that need to be changed that you can see there? Okay. And we talked about our current agenda a few minutes ago. Just reiterating, I guess, since it's here, that we've got all the no other changes that we need there. Okay. Any resignations, retirements that we need? Any retirements or resignations?
No, sir, not tonight.
Yes. Okay. Any staff or hired?
No, sir, not tonight.
All right, Miss Kyla, Miss Dickerson.
Oh my gosh.
You,
All right, you know what? We all lost an hour of sleep this weekend, but today I felt like I lost another hour. I don't know where it went, so this
when you find it, mine will be hanging around there. Let me know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so little explanation. Barb and I work together on the budgeting. She does things a little different than I used to do, so she has backed out the accruals for last year. So your numbers look a little different. I guarantee the numbers are not changed, it's just the numbers look a little different. So I've always kept them in there and gone from July, so she's going from September. So if we go from September, I think we're still there, we're at 50%, where we are 51 basically. And that's where we want to be at this point in our time. I do 50% at December, but I have the accruals in it. It's a weird deal. Just trust me on this. We are 50%. And it's easier to do. And she exactly showed me why she does it the way she does. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, that sounds so much simpler. And it does keep us a little bit better track on our what our contract balances are left to pay for this year, to know exactly where we are to meet our budgets for this year. So things will look a little different. The year-to-date is exactly the same. It's just when you look at the balances and the year-to-date percentages, those will be a little different than they were last month. Okay, so we did receive our February 15th payment, which is a big payment from the State Department in that they have paid us for our SBA. They've done some estimates in August. They do another estimate in November, and then in the February, they've been getting our reports and our IC reports, and thankfully if Melissa's here, shout out to her, because those things are very important and very nice to have exact and really good data in there. And because of that, then we get our discretionary money. most of our discretionary money. There's gonna be a few more payments, there'll be another one in May, and then there will be a cleanup in July. But the bulk of our money that we're getting from the state right now is already been paid to us. And that discretionary being the health insurance, the money to turn the lights on, the money to buy paper towels and do all those extra things. So and that is because of ADA. So that's driving the dollars of why we're getting the money that we're getting. So it's all fitting together, kind of. And I remember Tim Hill, he used to be the head of the finance department at the State Department, always called it a three-legged stool. And that's what it is, it really is that. So this number is looking pretty good. If you look at those percentages should be running about 50%. Although if you look at something that says 100%, that might be the alternative school because that's from last year, from when we had it. And if you look at interscholastic programs and it's 653%, that's because we're going to have to do an amended budget. We've taken the coaches' salaries out of our high school, our secondary fund and moved them into an interscholastic fund, and so we're paying which we have to do in order to do the supplemental levy correctly so that we can show the taxpayers this is how much our scholastic programs are costing us. I've always had them in the high school and just did an analysis and broke it out. This is actually going to give you some hard data for them to look at. I'm giving you way too much information, I'm sure. Do you have any questions for me?
Is that also the case with like books and periodicals where it has the zero budget?
Books and periodicals was the same thing. In fact, that account was not even available to us last year because this was a new thing from the legislature that said that we had to break out and do books and periodicals. So nothing was budgeted when you approved the budget last June. But now in July 1, we had to do books and periodicals. So yes, when we do an amended budget, we're gonna put some money in books and but we did have it in, say, a textbook line item that we had in elementary. Then we would have had those, what we purchased. So it's just, I would tell you, it's almost like a shell game at this point.
Can I give it its own category as opposed to the subcategory?
Right.
Under some of those.
Right. And that was the same on Board of Trustees and Business Operations, that's why I showed
And
you
the
those
special
two.
education support
Yes,
services?
and the special education support services, those were built into exceptional child, but now we're gonna move them out of exceptional child and put them there, but we're expending the money out of there, we just haven't done the budget side of it yet. So, we will be doing an amended budget, and we will be doing that at the June board meeting we'll be doing an amended FY24, and we'll be approving FY25, and we'll probably amend the FY25 when we get later on in the year. I'm just letting you know that's what's gonna happen. It's a fluid movement, but we try to keep it as real as possible.
I have more questions for you, but it gets into accruals and things like that, so I can probably just cut.
Okay, please do.
'Cause, yeah.
Everybody else will go to sleep.
I know. I could talk that all day.
Yeah, I know, I appreciate that, I like that, and I could too, and sometimes my family tells me to stop.
Do it.
Oh, gosh, yeah, there it goes, I was getting the hammer.
Melanie didn't even look at me. No, I appreciated those questions and your explanation. You went over some things exactly, some of the questions I had, like that 653%.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad.
I appreciate those, but I appreciate those explanations because it's just,
It's there,
they
it's
will be
just
very
not.
specific in the future. and
Yeah,
it'll
you will
help.
see that, we're gonna work on that, and Barb and I are gonna, our spring break is budgeting, so we will be here.
That sounds like a fantastic spring break.
I know, it is, it will be.
Riveting. All right, thank you. Any other questions about the budget? Okay. Get back to my, all right, paying the bills, did you have any questions with any of the bills that you looked at?
No.
Any problems that we need to talk about, kind of any of the bills that
There wasn't anything that I thought was too riveting in that. There's, we're getting to the end of our supply line budgets and some of those things, so some of that will stop pretty soon.
Thank you, appreciate that. That is the last item on our consent agenda, so to move on, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
Okay, motion to approve the consent agenda has been made and approved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
It was unanimous, Kyla. It was unanimous.
Yeah, thank you.
As we move into, as we move into our citizen comments portion, just would like to take an opportunity to mention, we had two policies that we adopted during our working session here a couple weeks ago. Policy number 2375 is dealing with service animals in our school system, and policy 9550 is cybersecurity and response. And in order to answer some issues that we were having and things that we had to do within our school, we went ahead and adopted those. And so if anybody has any comment about either service animals or cybersecurity, feel free in our public comment to visit about those if you'd like to. It's important that our public know that we're trying to hide and trying to do that behind closed doors, but it was something in order to answer some issues that we were having. We needed those policies in place.
And that was a special board meeting, not a work session.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
That's
thank
all right.
you.
I
It
just needed
started
to
to
let
be
you
a
know
work
it was
session.
advertised as a
Yep.
special board meeting. It's
Yep.
a work session, we can't adopt
Thank you,
policy.
Kyla.
Yep,
I
thank you.
appreciate that correction, because it started out as a work
Yeah,
session.
it was.
And because we needed to adopt those, we made it an open school board meeting, special meeting, so thank you for that. Okay, we heard from our high school leadership earlier, so I didn't see any other public comment. Kyle, okay, and then we'll turn to him, so on to our Weiser Education Association.
Well, I never thought of it till you mentioned it last week, or last month. I have it, like, so you can, I'm a visual
Yay.
person too, so I'm not sure why I thought to not do that before. Anyway, take one down and pass it around.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Plus, it made me get my thoughts together sooner than later. I know, thank you. So, I'm Nicole Mink, again, with the Weiser Education Association, and we did want to thank you, first of all, for a couple things, for asking us to be involved as you review the 5000s policies on personnel, and including our suggestions as you had your discussion. We couldn't be there because it was, it was just tiny, whatever. But when we can be there, we'd love to join your working session, and thank you, Kyla, for sharing our thoughts with them and for taking those thoughts into consideration. And as we were looking at them, we also agreed that I know one of the options was to just take the ones the state gave us and just like adopt them all. And so looking at them, we want to thank you for, and maybe not you, but the boards in the past or whoever, to not just have sweepingly just taken all the policies, because we have seen that there are some tweaks that need to happen to them to make them fit our school district. So thank you to you, to the past boards, whoever, to have not done that. And so we're looking at them and making them fit our school district. And then we do look forward to having more collaboration with you guys in the next months and in the years to come. And so on that note, collaboration, we're gonna have some negotiations soon. And so we will be giving you our formal request to open negotiations as soon as the legislators figure out what they're doing. So we'll let them finish their job and then we'll start ours. And then we still have concerns that the calendar committee has been allowed to define what our workday is, which you guys are gonna look at here in just a little bit. We don't feel that a committee like that should be the one defining what our workday is. So we'll continue to push for consistency in that and to have it, our workday defined and put into our master agreement. as negotiations come around. So, looking forward to that. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Get to move into our action items at this time. In considering the policies that we just talked about, see, I had one note. So for you board members, we went through 15 or 20, I have to go through, I don't know it exactly. We went through a lot of policies in our last special board meeting. I just want to point out that policy number 5121, employment and supervision of immediate family. That policy that we talked about has been removed from this section as we talk to accept as a first reading, only because that same policy, it's redundant. Our policy number 5270 that we will be reviewing coming up has the same information in it. And so as Kyle and I visited about this, and Mr. Doolin, as we have to keep updating our policies and reviewing, it'd be really nice that that policy isn't in two different places. So when we only have one policy that we have to update when that time comes. So if any of you would like for that to stay in this discussion, then we can talk about that and go ahead. But it has been removed out of this section as a first reading at this time for that purpose. Okay. So the policies that we had, the 5,000s, 5,000, 5,100, 5,105, 5,107, 5,110, 5,120, 5,125, 5,130, and 5,200. I would entertain a motion to make.
This is just a first
This is a first reading, so no motion needed. Okay, thank
Yep.
you. Thank you,
Yep.
appreciate that.
So we'll just move it on to the second reading for
Okay.
next month.
So we'll move that. So it sounds like everybody's in agreement. Any need for that? So we'll go ahead and take that out of that section, Kyle, for our second reading next month. Item B, the 3-year calendar. While he's getting that up and ready, I just want to point out for those of you that are here, and we just heard from the WEA that we're waiting on legislatures. This calendar as well has potential of, even if we adopted it, the exact calendar tonight, has a potential that it may have to make some changes due to the state letting us know that there's some mandated changes. Just a precursor for those of you who may not know, one of the things that the state is looking at is changing from hours in seats to days in seats. And that would totally and completely change what this calendar looked like. Even if we adopted it today, we'd have to make some changes. So the calendar is going to be a very fluid thing for us, at least in the near future, as well as we want to do the right thing, but we also are going to be held to state standards. So.
Okay, have a couple of things here that I would like to share. I was looking out here, I thought I might have a couple of my calendar committee members here. I know that Erica's here, she's served for Pioneer School, and had some parents serve as well. I know there was a question last time about how this calendar committee comes around. You guys ask us, to put together an ad hoc calendar committee. I then reach out to all the building administrators, and then I ask them, would you please recommend someone to serve on the calendar committee? And then as the calendar committee chair, I reach out to parents to serve on that committee as well. And what I try to do is I try to find parents that have multiple students in the school district, maybe students that are secondary and elementary, so that they can kind of look at the calendar from that perspective of a parent that has kids in multiple schools. And then it's just an ad hoc committee. We look at the calendar, we take the guidance from the board, and then we try to craft a calendar to fit within those parameters. And I would say, I know the comment was made that the calendar committee shouldn't set the school day. We don't set anything. The Board of Trustees sets everything, okay? We just give you a recommendation, and then you guys look at that, and following the guidance that you guys provide, that's who will set the calendar, and we'll go from there. Do want to let you guys know that some comments made that people felt like people didn't know what the calendar was before the last board meeting. So what we did as a calendar committee is we put together 2 calendars, and we sent it out to everybody in the school district so that they could vote on the 2 that they wanted to see. You guys can see right here that I received 98 responses, and we had the calendar that I presented to you guys last board meeting. I had to do a quick calculation. I'll show you here in a second that it's going to be a little bit different than it was. But however, it was the calendar that added 10 minutes to the work day, no time to the days when we don't have students in school, and it added no Fridays. And of the 98 people in the district that voted, 93 of the 98 voted for that calendar. Okay, with the additional 10 minutes, we had 5 people that wanted to keep the school day the same and add Fridays, and then add extra time on our days when we don't have students in school, so that we could match those work hours that you guys set as the parameter. Okay. So calendar 2, this is the one that 94% of the people voted for. And just to remind you, the highlighted dates there, October 17th, March 20th. That's where we pick up instructional days for the secondary schools when the elementary schools are having parent-teacher conferences. This enables, and again, this was some feedback from community members and also staff. This enables us to have 2 weeks at Christmas, 1 week at Thanksgiving, and we would add 10 minutes to our work day. So the workday would be 7:45 until 4:30. Some comments that I heard from staff when we were visiting about these calendars, they like that. Provides us more contract time at the end of the day for IEP meetings, 504 meetings, staff meetings, whatever it might be. And the majority of people are around until 4:30 anyway, so they didn't feel there was too much heartburn with that. When we sent this out, we tried to highlight and give more information here on what this was, what it would look like. And you guys can see here that we kept it, the work hours that the staff will work. You guys said you probably could have 10-hour leeway maybe in there, and we're under by 9.91 hours. So the committee was able to pull that off and do that. I do want to point out that there's a little difference in instructional time here, but I do want to remind you, one of the couple of things that we talked about is we are having a full orientation day at Pioneer School, a full orientation day at Park School, and the middle school would like to try to have a full orientation day. I know that a lot of you guys have attended the back to school night at the park at the middle school, that first day of school, and it is packed, and it's packed into a really short time period. So the middle school felt really strongly it'd be nice for them if they could have that whole day, have parents come in, have their kids come in, maybe meet their teachers, drop off their stuff, really kind of ease into it, and then hit the ground running that next day. Of course, the high school would go ahead and start on the 14th, but the 15th would be the first day of school for Pioneer School, Park School, and the middle school. And I know that seems kind of funny to have one day, but I can tell you with the little kids, if you do your orientation day on the 14th, and we get those kids in the building on the 15th, to just welcome them to the building, it's a good way to start slow and then just jump into it with a full week the next week from there. All righty? So I would tell you that is the calendar that 94.9% of the staff that voted said that they would be in favor of. So do you guys have any questions for me?
Was in that, was there an option of like neither?
No. Those are the two. And we talked about it as a committee. Could have provided, 30,
Oh, for
options,
sure. For sure.
and there was a lot came in. So what we tried to do is, the reason that the committee decided to present these two, we wanted to kind of narrow it down. We had the parameters, both of these calendars met the parameters that you guys wanted, and we felt really strongly that we had a lot of suggestions come in, and we tried to implement all those. Like for the first time in the history of the Weiser School District, the elementary schools and the secondary schools aren't starting on the same day. For the first time ever, and again, this is feedback from staff, our parent-teacher conference look different, because really I think those conferences are different.
Yeah.
Being at both the high school and at Pioneer School now. So we felt that these were really, these calendars were pretty responsive to all the comments that we received from the committee members. They went back. I want to thank them. They did a great job going into their buildings. I know at Pioneer School, Eric and I put together a meeting and we met with the whole staff. We let them take a look at the calendars and we took recommendations from them and then we brought it back to the committees. So I just want to thank my committee for doing that. Because a calendar is a tough thing. It's really tough to set, because everybody has a different kind of different look. But just to reiterate, we're starting the same week that we've started in the past. We're finishing before Memorial Day. We have 2 weeks at Christmas. We've got a week at Thanksgiving. Man, holy moly, did we try to really find ways to get everything in there from the suggestions that we heard. So again, I think I'm pretty proud of the work that our committee did. They put a lot of time and effort and it was very thoughtful. So our recommendation from the calendar committee would be to accept calendar 2 here. And then what I would do for you guys is I will take this calendar and then I'll just make the 25, 26, and the 26, 27, so you guys have a 3-year calendar that matches all these parameters. Okay? I only did one because I want to kind of see where we were. And be happy to answer questions.
Well, and depending on what
Right.
comes
What the
down
legislature does,
that
it might be or not.
Yeah, yeah. Can I ask about the 22 hours of professional development?
Yes.
How
yes.
is that? What is that?
That is not calculated in here on the student contact hours. Those hours are in for the teacher work.
They are in for
Yes,
the teacher.
they are in the teacher work day. Yep. Because those are the parent-teacher conference days, and I have included that in the teacher hours right here. Okay, they are in here. Those 20 hours. The reason I didn't put them in here, we technically can count those hours, but I didn't want it to be misleading for the board because kids are not in school at that time. It is instructional hours, but it's not. I don't want to count it in here because those aren't hours that students are sitting in seats and being taught by our teachers. So we, as a committee, elected not to include those hours because we wanted to show you the true number of hours that our kids are sitting in front of teachers and being taught.
Thank you.
But they are definitely included here.
Okay.
Yep, they are definitely in the staff hours.
Any other questions? Maybe wait. No
I
questions?
had questions written down, but you answered once. So those 22 hours are taken from parent-teacher conferences?
Yeah, and we actually probably have more PD. You're allowed to count up to 22 hours. But we have more than that because of the number of Fridays that we have.
Okay, so the Fridays are counted as well?
Right. Yep, they're
As-
all in here.
as-
They are all in here, yep. If you look right up here, I'm gonna kind of up here, do you see where I'm at there? And okay, the 144 times 8.75, that's the number of days kids are in school, okay? And then right here, okay, this is, those are the 14 work days where we work without kids in the building. Those are 8-hour days. And then this 12 right here, those are the 4 evenings that we come for parent-teacher conferences, 3 hours on Wednesday, 3 hours on Thursday, 2 times a year. That's where that 12 comes from. So that's the calculation on the number of hours that staff works. Okay? There are a couple half days for kids. There's one at the end of the first semester, one at the end of the second semester, but staff works a full day. So that's why it's the 8.75. Okay? And then these are just those days we work when students are not in school, and then once again, those are the evenings. So all of those hours are accounted for in that calculation.
Yeah.
These are some of the same things that we've talked about. I appreciate that work and the effort that's gone into this, and like I say, it's gonna be a living doc. It's very fluid because of the different things that could potentially come at us, hours versus days, a 4-day school week versus 5-day school week, and there's some discussion with the state about that as well. So we'll see how that affects us. I do appreciate how this works. We started with some parameters for you, like we wanted as close to the same amount of hours and seats that we've had. We wanted to start the school year and end the school year as absolutely close to the same as we've done in the past. And we, seem to like our longer Christmas vacation and a little longer Thanksgiving as well. So appreciate the work that goes into trying to fit all that stuff in there, because it's not always easy. Any thoughts, questions, concerns, discussion on this calendar? It is an action item, so whether we adopt it tonight or not is going to be based on those discussions and a motion.
Andrea, do you have any concerns from your standpoint? I know you kind of have a better understanding of how the school's hours and times work.
I can't imagine putting it together, first of all. That's a lot of work. But it sounds like looks like they've followed the parameters you gave them before I got here. Yeah, I don't know what more you can do.
And obviously, you mentioned it's going to be a fluid document, right? Even if we adopt this, if the legislature comes down and says we have to do it by days, we're going to have to revisit this whole thing.
Debbie said she won't let us know that.
Till May.
Well, that's fantastic. It's like getting the check for the end of the year in August instead of May. Kind of the same type of thing. Well, having no concerns, no changes that you can think of, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the 3-year calendar that Dave Davies has submitted as option number 2.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. But we've only been given a 1 year, so do we really, how do we adopt a 3-year?
So these are the parameters. So good question, before we vote
I
on
just
anything.
I haven't seen a
So
3 years.
the way that works is he's gonna take all these parameters and just move them into the next year, which is gonna change because
it's gonna
Christmas
change.
lies in a different day.
Still be 2 weeks.
It's still gonna be a 2-week, we'll still have a 2-week Christmas, we'll still have a week Thanksgiving. Still all
I still feel like we
contract
should
hours.
be adopting a 1 year if we are only seeing a 1 year. But maybe that's just me, maybe I'm being weird. I don't know.
Well, the 3-year calendar would be the parameters that you're laying out and staying with the same hours to try to get it. So, but we've been known to have adopted a 3-year calendar proposal and still made some amendments to those calendars
Okay.
at the front of the year.
Okay.
And I'm going to put those other two together, so I'd be happy to get those 2 days ASAP.
Okay.
And we're considering a 3-year calendar. I'm not opposed to having a motion that goes, let's adopt this for 1 year, and can be a counter motion.
I don't know, I just don't know how it works, but if I'm looking at a 1 year, it's hard for me to adopt a 3-year. Even though the parameters are supposedly the same, it's still Christmas effects, the date of Christmas is gonna affect things, I don't know. It's hard to even do a 1 year.
I could appreciate that.
Table it until
I say we just
he
do
puts
it
that
one
together.
year.
The nice thing about a school year, at least from our working standpoint, is we have people that call us in August to say, when is spring break gonna be, or when is graduation gonna be? So having a 3-year calendar gives us the flexibility to say, this is what that calendar says. So that's why I'm saying 3 years kind of nice, so.
It's
No,
a
I
great
think it's-
planning.
Yeah, I am not disagreeing with that. I think it's great. I just don't see 3 years, so that was why I was asking. But
Mr. Chairman, I'd be, if you guys are okay, I'd be happy to just take calendar 2 and do three years, okay, do the next 2 years for you guys. And then we could bring it in April, and you guys could take a look at it. And that way, if there's no questions with it, then you can adopt the full 3-year calendar. I'd be more than happy to do that for you guys, if that works.
I was gonna suggest the same thing, so I appreciate that. So let's just, in this, no need for making a motion, but make a motion, but let me just ask this of the board then, is this number 2 option calendar okay and something that you would like to see enhanced into a 3-year calendar?
It is for me.
it is for me.
Okay,
So
let's,
you want him to amend his motion? Okay.
Can I amend my motion and say, let's table this until April till we get all 3 years scheduled out in front of us before.
I'll second that motion.
Well,
So,
we're gonna table it, that you don't have a motion.
no
That's good.
motion,
Yeah.
okay. So we're gonna table, so we'll put this item back on the agenda for April school board meeting.
Park school.
Appreciate the effort.
Yeah, we'll be at first.
Good discussion, appreciate those,
In April.
bringing that forward. No, that's good. That's what we want us to be able to talk about. No hard feelings, this is good. So the next item on the agenda is an LGIP. And remind me what that
Yes, sir.
stands for.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It stands for Long-Term Government Investment Pool.
Thank you.
And what it is, it's simply, back during COVID days, some money was given to the food service department. And we'd like to set up an account in which they can draw interest. With that money over, they can draw interest from that amount of money that they have in there right now.
So this account, just to build off that a little bit, all of our schools, we have multiple accounts that are in this exact form. And so it's an opportunity for us to have everybody have the same kind of a bank account and not do different things everywhere. So the food services, this would be just a great opportunity for us to have the same account in all of our different bank accounts.
Carrying interest,
Yes.
that's,
It's a safe place to put, saying, so I do have.
So it will take a motion for us to open that up.
Yes,
with
Yes,
food
please, because I
services.
do have to have minutes for that.
So, am I moving that we consider it or that we just
open
do it?
No,
So-
that we open it.
Okay, I
That you
move
allow
that we open the LGIP account for food services.
Second.
Motion is made to open an LGIP account for food services and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, another banking issue that we need to talk about with some changes of personnel and changes in personnel in the Pioneer School. We need to add some more signatures or change so that we have enough people in our staff that can write checks and sign for things with the new principal and new secretary.
yes, sir, we'll be taking 2 off and adding 2 with your approval.
So again, it's same type of thing, would be entertain a motion to allow our school district to make some changes in signatures in the Pioneer School account.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, thank you, Mr. Davies.
You had an administrator that
Yeah.
left, and so Mr. Davies is new, and then, we have the 2 secretaries, and one of our secretaries left in January. And so we hired a new secretary, and then, the SFA is not part of it, so.
So the new secretary and new
Yes, sir.
Yes, right.
So this is also an action item? Entertain a motion for this.
I'll make a motion that we, do the change to the Pioneer Schools signatures, for their bank account to accommodate the staff changes.
I second that.
Motion to change signatures in the Pioneer banking system. Probably another system has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. The next item on our agenda is to open an account, WeiserSchoolsFundraiser for our car raffle. Mr. Doolin, will you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. As you know, we've been talking about it for a few months now. I think last month I came and briefed you guys at Pioneer. And at first, we had talked about with all the key players about tickets, actual tangible tickets and actual tangible exchanging of money. And we thought that after we thought about it, it's not a very good idea. So I think it was Drew brought up the idea that West 8 is doing this right now as well. And I know it's apples and oranges. However, we're going to parallel their program in which it's going to be all online. And I've got a meeting with both papers on Wednesday to get it out to the public so everybody gets the same stuff at the same time. And this flyer here, it can be changed whatever you guys decide. If you want more or less, let us know. Jessica's here right now. Jessica's taking the lead on setting the website up. It's another website. It's another domain from our website in which money can go directly into. And let's say, for example, Mr. LaRue wants to pay $100 and get 5 tickets to apply towards the middle school boys basketball. Well, he'd go on this site, he would select middle school, it'd be a drop-down menu, boys basketball, bada boom, bada bang. So the secondary schools have the option of different activities. The Park and Pioneer would just go into student activities because obviously they don't have the kind of programs that secondary schools have. So we're thinking this will be a bigger bang for our buck in reference to you can put your money where you want to, so to speak. So if you look down here, our plan is to give the car away on homecoming game on September the 13th. So we're getting ready to gear up, and this account will allow us to funnel all that money into and not touch any cash.
So then it'll just be a computer-generated winner.
Well, let Jessica stand up, talk about it. No, that's not it.
We will be able to, we're closing it a week before, the fundraiser will close a week before homecoming, so that way we can have time to get all the names printed onto physical tickets, and the plan is to have halftime, have the big wheel with the whole dramatic and reaching in and, yeah, so.
I like that better than thinking
Yes.
you can push a button.
No, yeah.
Yes.
Our vision is that Jake and Ken, they're the guys that beat you, are out there on the 50-yard line with me or with us, with the car out there providing that don't tear the field up. And ideally, it'd be somebody that wins in the stands, and they walk down and get in their car and drive off. That'd be the intent.
They really hit the gas and do a computer.
True.
I can see it happening. Okay.
I have a question.
Please.
How do we address inbound people, in-home people, and people that aren't internet or phone handy, to allow them to participate?
Yes, sir. Once we get it out to everybody, they'll have the option to come down here and write a check or pay cash, and they'll have just an opportunity.
We'll
just
put it
anybody
in
else.
for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna exclude those. By any means, we'd love to have them, but we did think of that.
Yeah.
Some people aren't computer literate, and that's just fine. Me being one of them.
Okay.
So has the potential to raise $100,000, that's pretty.
That's our goal. We got 5,000, yes ma'am. That's our goal. If we exceed our goal, so be it, but that's the goal. 5,000
Well, it
tickets.
caps out at 5,000,
It does.
yeah.
And Mr. Dillon will be driving the car here pretty soon.
I will. We're gonna get, he's gonna wrap it in Wolverine stickers as well as a Smith Auto of Weiser stickers. And we'll drive around to every event that we can. And we're gonna get 2 wooden signs put up that we can track our success. One will be here at the district headquarters, one will be at the high school. And so it should be a,
Then we'll go to like the home events. and
yes, we'll
baseball.
announce it, everything we can.
Yeah,
And
cool.
might even be at Ridley someday, you never know.
That was very generous of them.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And kudos to Jessica.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you,
thank you.
Jessica, for
Too.
doing
It's
that.
done a great job. Thank you, thank you.
So is that's a motion?
To open an account, yes
Open
ma'am.
an account. I would make that motion to open an account specific for this fundraiser for the car raffle.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion to open an account for the fundraising of the car raffle has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Safe and secure projects, phase 2.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just to recap, I'm happy to report that we had some great training last week in reference to the new buzzer systems for our buildings, key fobs and things of that nature. And again, that's going to be one thing I talked to the papers about on Wednesday, is where we're at without giving them the exact date when we're ready to go live with those and what they can expect when they come to our schools from in the future date on. With that said, phase 1's come and gone. I turned everything in today. All the money's accounted for. All the things are in place, are being put in place. The state's happy with what I sent in. So it's phase 2 now. And like you said a while ago, this needs to be up in the minutes so that the state knows that we're serious about this. We're going to go out for a new PA system at the high school. I wanted to go out for new PA systems at every school, but the state said, not this time, Doolin. We're only going to give you money for one school. So I looked at the most expensive school, and it is the high school, to the tune of about $92,000. And I'm going to let the state fund that, and then we'll look at our funds to try to get try to fund some other schools within our district for their PA system. But it's our intent that every school gets a new PA system within 2 to 3 to 5 years. But like I said, just need to approve it so it gets in the minutes, so the state knows that you are okay with the way ahead with phase 2.
So considering the high school PA system is where we...
Yes, sir.
Is the motion that we need for phase 2.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we move on to phase 2 of PA systems for the high school.
I'll second that.
Okay. So, motion to be made to, in phase 2, go to the high school with their approximately $93,000 need has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you're doing there. We need to consider an audit agreement that we have had with Quest CPAs for fiscal year 24 and 25.
And, not to embarrass you, but I'm gonna have you recuse yourself from voting on this one, okay?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Quest CPAs has been a long-term partner with our school district, and they come in and do our audit for us every year. It's not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of work to it and a lot of moving parts. And because we get more than $750,000 on the special or the federal funds, they have to do a single audit on top of that, which costs a lot more. This firm, and we've always worked with Dan Coleman, the reason why I asked Mr. Brush, that's his brother-in-law, which I've always asked him to, Dan works very well with our district, and I have great faith and trust in him while he does it, and he's comes in, he's professional, he is very quick in getting it back. He usually gives me a date sometime mid-July, July 20th, I usually have the paperwork, everything back to me by a week later. And I always have him speak at your August board meeting to give you the financials for our district for that prior year. Not too many school districts get that. In fact, some school districts are still not having their audit completed by November. And by state statute, if you don't have your audit completed and paperwork into annual report into the State Department by November, they withhold your funds. So it's imperative we have an auditor that we trust and an auditor that gets his work done quickly. So I would like to, they've written us a letter, and it's 4 or 5, actually 7 pages long, and they've just asked us to legally bind to FY24 and FY25 for doing the audit. The amount for that audit is listed here. I don't know if you need to do that, but I will need a signature. If you want to make a motion and give me the right to agree to that as a signator, I can do that too. I would have had Mr. LaRue do it, but he's gone. So if you'll make the motion that I can sign it, that would be great.
So this is a binding agreement for 2-year audit.
Right.
And like
Just so they can plan.
How many years has he done it?
Oh my gosh.
Long time,
Well,
or not?
I would say Quest CPAs, let's see, Kurt Folke started probably in 2006, maybe 7.
Probably either 8 or 9 is when
8
Kurt
or 9,
started.
okay.
But
But
it
prior
was
to that, we had the firm, but they just changed names and then, so I know Petra did business with them forever. So, yeah, it's probably been a 30-year program. We're very, it's really nice.
It's been impressed with his reports to us. And
Yes.
we do a good job.
Yes.
So I would make that motion that we go through this agreement with Quest CPAs for the year ending 24 and 25.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion to enter this agreement with Quest CPAs 24 and 25 has been made and seconded.
One question, what about authorizing Kyle's signature?
Oh, I didn't add that.
You know what, the fact that you're making this motion and agreeing to it, I'll just assume
That was part of our,
that's fine.
that was part of our understanding.
That'll be fine. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Do you want to restate that?
No, it's fine. I think we'll do that. As long as you motion that we are going to, I'll just sign it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You got your majority.
Thank you.
We've got 3.
And we will have Dan again. Oh, thank you. Actually, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Appreciate that. Having a CPA that you can work with like that is really nice.
All right, our next item on the agenda. I'm gonna make sure I didn't skip one. To consider the supplemental levy and resolution, levy and resolution for May 21st, 2024 election. Mr. Doolin,
Yes, sir.
give us a little.
Yes, sir, just to recap, if I could.
Yep.
Again, all-day kindergarten to the tune of $130,000. Athletics, that includes salaries, expenses, and supplies, to the tune of $162,000. Technology equipment upgrade, $58,000. And the new high school track and sports complex and/or field house, $400,000. A total of $750,000 per year. Kyle has gone on to say that the estimated average annual cost to the taxpayer on the proposed levy would be $85.56 per 100,000 of taxable assessed value per year based on current conditions.
So this levy is been at $350,000 with the condition of our track and some the needs of having a field house and being able to have bathrooms, and it'd be a fantastic project out there. It's going to double. It's going to go from a 350 to 750. By all means, that the decision that we're making today is to put that on the ballot, is whether or not we put it on the ballot, which will give the voters the opportunity to decide, is this something we would support the school system in? So our job today is, are we ready to go out to the public and put this on the ballot? Any questions? Discussion? Concerns?
So the track is 400,000 per year. I misunderstood.
No,
The track and the
total cost is that.
No.
You levied.
On it's added in to that's where it's 750 per year. And so that means the 400 is twice. I'm reading that correctly.
It's to levy $750 per year.
So it's saying the track is 800,000.
Yeah, the track is 750,000.
Okay, that was gonna be my silly question, was gonna say, I don't think 400,000 is enough.
No, it's not. The track is
That
the
makes more
cost is
sense.
750,
Oh, yeah,
and then
that's
the
where I
field house and the upgrades, we're planning at 50, not probably getting enough to do
That's
the
what I was
field
thinking.
house.
That's
and-
what it doesn't even
But,
seem like it.
but you have to understand, this is, that's an increase to your
Yeah.
voters. And so,
It's a huge increase.
It is-
Yeah,
it
it's a
is.
genuine concern.
But if I could, 750 is low, because well, 2 suits ago, it was 400,000 for a new track. And that was 7 years ago. So you can imagine it's at least 750, 800, 900,000 now.
And it's only gonna go up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a big increase for our levy, and that's what
Yes,
people
ma'am,
are gonna
sure.
see as the bottom line. And that's where I'm seeing where we have to justify that.
Well, my plan is to
Which
have,
is very well drawn out, you know, it's,
Well, actually,
it's understood.
paying $39 already, right?
for
So
350.
the
Per
di-
100,000.
So the difference is $45.
it's an increase of 45.63. And that's based on taxable estimates for this year. And I think our property values, we always have a lot of new housing. And so with that increases your value, so that would actually drop your levy rate a little.
And no matter what happens, whatever the state, like last year, they had a buy down. That money that we get doesn't buy this one down, because it's.
well, you've seen the latest legislation, we've been kind of restricted now on saying anything. However, what you just said is still a player.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when, I guess if you looked at House Bill 292, it bought down supplemental, or bonds and then
Right.
supplemental. So
Yeah.
I think this year it'll be bonds, supplementals, plant facilities.
Okay.
So that's what,
There's potential.
that's what we'll read.
Yeah. Okay.
Because remember, currently we have no bonds.
Yeah. Okay.
I definitely see the need for it. For sure, obviously we need it. We wouldn't ask for it if we didn't. We wouldn't ask.
So the plan moving forward is to have at least a couple of community meetings.
Yes, sir.
that we
Yes,
can
sir.
Get out and really spell out what this is and PowerPoints of exactly what we're after, so.
Yes, sir, we're gonna put it on our website as well. We're gonna show the taxpayers exactly where stuff's going. I've already sent Kyla the pie chart. If you approve it, where it's gonna go, we can get it out sooner, in less than a week. My intent is to go out to two town hall meetings, get out to every school, maybe numerous times, The key is transparency and communication, and the needs there versus that's both want or need. We need it. We don't. Of course, they want it, but it's a need. It's all they track.
Yeah, very transparent, I appreciate that. And then when those dates are on the schedule, we'll be able to know and we'll support those presentations.
Thank you.
So in order for us to move forward, and we need to, so we need to make a motion, one or the other here, in order to get this on the ballot and get the information to this big county. We need this, we need a motion, we need to accept this and make a motion to approve it tonight.
So I move that we add the supplemental levy and resolution to the May 21st, 2024 election ballot.
I'll second that. Motion has been made to accept this resolution, move this information to the county split with Kings Olympia ballot in May has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. That ends our action items for the night.
Could we take a break? I have a lot of desserts.
Let's take a break so that we can eat what has been brought to us, and those that need to use the facilities can. Yeah. I've just been told there's another pan.
Yeah,
So
yes. Okay.
you don't get to leave without taking another
One to go.
piece. So we had on our discussion items, Mr. Lou would really like to have a discussion about facility use. As we've changed our policy, and we have many more people wanting time in our gyms, how we protect them for our own students, how do we do it right so they're open for use. I would like to table that discussion until he was here. But before I do, are there any questions? Is there anything, we're gonna talk about this again next month.
Okay.
So
Was this,
That was just.
Moscow School District?
Sample.
That's just a sample of what they do.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty,
didn't
it's
want to
pretty
confuse
amazing.
anybody. Sorry, I thought, well, there's something to look at.
It's pretty, I did too, it's pretty in-depth.
I mean, I liked it, but I think you're right. I think we need to table it until John can be here.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. I just wanted to let everybody know that that was on our docket to talk about, and we did receive a good example of what Moscow Education, what they do in Moscow. Might be something that we can modify and change. We will have that discussion again next
Mr.
month.
Chairman, if I could.
Please.
I always like to remind us that we've already amended the policy once to
Yes.
give it back to the administrators.
Yep.
And I spoke to them both before they left, and they agreed at this time that it's working out well in reference them having it at their level versus how we had it before. So
Yeah,
just
and we don't want to fix something that isn't broken. It was just further, you know, one of our board members is volunteers and helps with basketball and has seen some of those difficulties firsthand. So just wanted to make sure that we're doing the right thing and
yes, sir.
we're doing the best we can. So, does anybody have any burning or ideas or things that they would like to have on future agendas that we haven't talked about? Not so far. Okay, well that's easy enough. Do you have any communications that you would like for Ms. Price to read?
Yes, sir, one piece.
Oh, you didn't bring your glasses.
I can
still read, look.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
oh, it's big writing, too. I like this one. Dear Superintendent Doolin and Board of Trustees, my husband and I want to thank you for the opportunity to live in the Glen House for the last almost 9 years. We will be moving in a couple of weeks. Our daughter has married there. Our grandson walked first there. I started and ended a cancer journey there. We have enjoyed decorating it for kids at Halloween and Christmas. It is time for a new chapter for us, but we appreciate the last 9 years. Thank you, Rebecca Gonzalez.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Any perspective? Thank you for that note.
Not to my knowledge. No, no, sir.
Appreciate it. Is that the only communication?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At this point in juncture in our meeting, I need one further recommendation.
I move that we adjourn this meeting. Second.
Motion has been made to adjourn and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See that? I used my book.
You.
Oh my gosh, 2 hours.